How lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. That's what we're talking about. And remember, it's talking about generations. So it's not just necessarily referring to all classes of people, but it's referring to youths. And I said, there is a generation that their eyelids are lifted, their eyes are lifted up, they are looking up. Just like in our language, in our vernacular language that is translated to English, say they always look up, in eye they up. That's what he's talking about. What does it really mean? We're saying that there is a generation of young people that do untoward things, and that's what we've been considering, untoward attitudes. And sometimes they don't know that they are sowing seeds for their future. They're destroying the things that will make for their destiny. And let me also say this, that the enemy that fights against you is not necessarily fighting against you because of your job, because of your business, because of whatever it is that you think that you want to acquire, but it's actually fighting against your destiny. And the other problem is that when you go down, somebody else goes down with you. And sometimes generations may go down with you. And that's why we have to understand the important place of our destinies. So whatever we're doing today, we're seeding our destiny. That's why we're talking about free energy. Let me read from the Living Bible. It says, there is a generation, it said, they are proud, beyond description, arrogant, and disdainful. That's just a paraphrased rendering of that thought, that they are proud. You can't explain their arrogance, the reason for their arrogance. And as a result of that, they are disdainful. But why does it happen? Because this set of people are very fast at seeing things. They're looking, so they are seeing. Now, like we've said before, there's nothing absolutely wrong in an extreme in seeing. But at another extreme, there are dangers. And those are the things we want to address briefly this morning. And as a young person, you must have to understand that your life depends on certain things. First, some of these things that happen are not things that maybe you premeditatedly do. You just find yourself that is how you are. You find yourself that your eyes are lifted up. You are always looking, and you are thinking beyond where you are. You're seeing what others don't even expect you to see. You're seeing them. The Bible says they are lofty, their eyes are lifted up. And this is why there is a problem. Now, one of the things that we want to consider today is the influence of the world around us. To an extent, every one of us, directly or indirectly, will be affected by the world around us. But God did not create you to be ruled by the world around you. You are supposed to rule the world from your inside. In other words, you should be in charge of your world. But if the world around you is what rules you or rules your inside, you're under the influence of the world around you, the world around you dictates your life, then it means that you don't have a life. Because what you see is outside you, your real life is inside you. And if what is outside you is what is ruling what is inside you, then it means that you're not living the life that is inside you. Let me tell you a short story. A preacher was said to be preparing his sermon on a Saturday against Sunday, and he wanted some quietness. He didn't want to be distracted. He wanted to read, he wanted to study, he wanted to pray in order to prepare himself against the Sunday morning. And as he was busy doing that, his son came up. I mean, his 4-year-old son came up. We ask him this question. He will put him away, ask him this question. And he didn't want this child to continue to disturb him because, you know, some children are fond of daddy. So he wanted to put the child away. Probably, the child will play off and sleep off. At least it will give him the chance to concentrate. So he brought out a map of the world and gave it to the son and said, go and fix the map. Put it in the appropriate places. In other words, Nigeria should be where it's supposed to be. Ghana should be where it's supposed to be. South Africa should be where it's supposed to be. The United States should, just fix all the countries in their proper locations. And you know, as an adult, you know that that's difficult. I mean, not many people can actually do that. Few people can do that. So the boy took the map of the world and went to sit down. And he was confused because he didn't know even where to start. But as he was looking at it as a child, trying to think of what to do, he was turning it upside down. Suddenly, he turned it upside down and he saw that there is the image of a man. So he began to, as he turned it upside down, he began to fix the man. He knew where the head of the man could be. He knows human being. He put the hands where they should be, the neck where it should be, the legs, and so on. And within 5 minutes, the boy was through. He had fixed the man. So when he turned that image of the man upside down, he discovered that the map of the world was fixed in the appropriate places. Excited as he was, he took the thing to the dad. And the father was surprised. But he saw that he felt initially that they were just trying to play some kind of games on him as a little child. You know, sometimes our children play on us. They play on our intelligence because they're children. And so he said, what? Have you fixed it? The boy said yes. And the father was surprised. And he said, how did you do it? When he looked at it, it was just perfect. How did you do it? So the child said, I didn't know where all the different nations of the world were. But when I turned the back of that paper, I discovered that there was the image of a man. So instead of going to fix the world map, I fixed the man. Since I knew where the man was, or the different parts of the man where they belong. So I fixed the man. So when I turned that paper upside down, the map of the world was complete. And the father hugged him and kissed him. He embraced him tightly. He said, son, you have given me my message. He said, because man is a man's world. Now, if you are living on the influence of your environment, you will not have a world of your own. What you see is capable of deceiving you. Just like a lot of people have been deceived by the things that they see, because they're influenced by the environment. And don't forget this, every environment have a tendency or a potential to influence you as a person. It is either you rule over your world or your world rules over you. And when your world rules over you, you do not have a life of your own. You have a life of the world around you. And so many people don't have a life of their own. They're living for the things that they see, the people that they see, activities that they see around. That is what they're living for. And as long as that is your life, you don't have a life. Because as things change, you discover that you are empty. Just like somebody waiting for a bus. The bus comes, takes the passengers and leaves. And he's still there waiting. That is how it's going to be. Because at least you understand a situation that sometimes when buses come in a bus stop or at the bus stop, people struggle to enter. And sometimes a person can stay there for hours because he couldn't enter. That's how your life may be if you are being controlled by the world outside you. You are supposed to control the world around you. God told Adam, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion. So the world around you, thank God for everything that God has made. It's not supposed to control you. Now, sin is very important, because one of the things that this set of people have, their eyes are lifted up. One of the things that they enjoy is the ability to see. They can describe everything around you. As a matter of fact, if it's about a Christian life, they can describe all the churches, all the preachers. They can tell you details or give you details of things that you do not know that exist in churches or in the life of even pastors and ministers and gospel preachers around. They know about every church. But the thing is that, unfortunately, and more often than not, such people don't even have the life of the church. They don't have a true Christian life. Why? Because they are living based on the things that they see, allowing the things that they hear and see to influence them, so they don't have the Christian life. Sin is important. Now, if you notice in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 11, God asked Jeremiah, what do you see? Jeremiah said, I see an almond tree. And he said, you have seen well. Verse 12 said, I will hasten my word, or I will watch over my word to bring it to pass, to perform it. So what you see is very important. God deals with you based on what you see. But there is a danger. Number one, the number one danger for people like this is that suppose what you see is not what you see. Because more often than not, those that are having their eyelids lifted up, their eyes are lofty, they are not seeing what they are supposed to see. So they see what they don't see. Of course, they see what that looks like a paradox, but let me explain. Have you ever had somebody who tells you about the things that are available, and when you go there you don't see it? I'm sure you know what a mirage is. A mirage can be there and it is as if it's a pool of water. You get there, you're not seeing anything. And there are people that are seeing things that they are not really seeing. They're telling you, oh, this is what I can do. This is what can happen. If I have a 1,000 naira, I can produce this. If I have so much, I can achieve this. If I get to this place, this is what I'm going to do. But as a matter of fact, you think that they are seeing something, but they are not seeing what they are seeing. Why? Because your vision is not your vision. Your dream is not your dream. You're dreaming the dreams of other people. You need to dream your own dreams. You need to see your own seeing. Are you seeing what you're seeing? Are you dreaming your dreams? The Bible says there's a generation. Their eyelids are lifted. They are having lofty eyes. They are always looking up. They are seeing things, but they are not seeing anything. So the first danger is that you may not be seeing the things that you're seeing, because your dream is not your dream. Your vision is not your vision. Even in Jeremiah 23, God was rebuking the prophets that they are telling lies. I have seen this, I have seen that. He said, but they didn't see anything. And I said, he that has my word, let him speak my word. He that has a dream, let him tell a dream faithfully. And that's the problem. And especially in these last days, there are a lot of people that are seeing things and seeing things and seeing things, and they are not arriving anywhere because they're always seeing what they are not seeing. Are you dreaming your dreams? Are you seeing your seeds? Are you dreaming your own dreams and having the visions that are your own? And if it is not, it is time to reverse it, because you can be dreaming those dreams and seeing those seeds and having those visions that are not your own until you are 50, 60, 70, and you see that you have arrived nowhere. Now, why is it that sometimes is it that people want to have marriages or weddings? They want to do it like the other person's own. So that we're always styling ourselves after other people. That's first danger. The danger number one is that if your eyelids are lifted up, if you're lofty in your vision, you may not be seeing what you are seeing. See your own see, dream your own dream, have your own vision. Because your world is ruled from inside, not from outside. The fact is that some people have the energy from the outside world. Can become boastful, disdainful, spiteful, but your vision must be your vision in order for that to change. Number two, a lot of people don't own what they own. That's dangerous. That's the danger number two. Because their eyelids are lifted up. They're always looking up. Some of the things that they own, they don't own. Have you seen somebody that wants to go to a party? He borrows shoe from his friend. He borrows shirt from his friend. Puts the dress that he doesn't own because he wants to impress other people. And when he has gone to that party, he comes back and returns those things. Have you seen people, in order to impress people that they can also do it, they borrow money? Like one of the things that you find in Lagos, especially around the West, is that people, in order to impress people, can borrow money to throw a big party. I've seen people that borrowed money to do weddings. At the end of the day, they are paying off debts. I've seen people that borrowed money to pay, or rather to rent big apartments, and at the end of the day, they are struggling to pay off the debt. Do you own what you own because you want to show up? You now have to borrow your friend's car. Do you own the things you own? Several years ago, a young man who was, all his friends, by the time they were teenagers, they have entered the university, and he came to Lagos, and he was trying to meet up, but he couldn't meet up, and he didn't go through his WAEC examination. So when he goes back to the village, he will be giving them the impression that he was also in the university, and he was mixing up with people and speaking the language of the undergraduates. And that was what he was doing until everybody graduated this service, and he was not graduating. Today he is regretting himself because he did not own the things that he owned. You know what I'm talking about? There are a lot of people that are displaying things that are not their own. They see it with the eye and possess it. They try to dress up to show that this is my level. They try to behave, this is my level, but they don't own it. The danger. Eyelids lifted up, and it leads to untoward attitudes. That's what we're really talking about. And the third danger is symbolic image. A lot of people are living a symbolic lifestyle. You know, we are living in the age of the internet, social media. Hardly before you see a young person that is not in social media. Movies, entertainment, and so on. So a lot of people are trying to model their lives after a lot of people. Sometimes I've heard about that. Oh yes, everybody's talking about that person, so they want to be like that. Their dress codes will change, their dress styles will change. Their hair, they will do their hair according to that person. But that's not really who you are. The danger is that it makes them to hide or suppress reality. It makes them to cover up reality. It sweeps reality under the carpet. And as a result of that, you see that the person is not living a real life but a symbolic life. That's why you see that there's a lot of untrustworthiness. A lot of people are not dependable because they are living a symbolic lifestyle. Everything. How many people actually wrote a project when they were graduating? I mean, you were graduating. Did you really write a project? Many people didn't write projects. They copied from somewhere. Now, I'm not trying to put guilt into your heart if you did that, but the matter is that if that is your lifestyle, it is a symbolic lifestyle. It's not a real lifestyle. It's not really who you are. Several years ago, somebody asked me to conduct an interview for them. And many of the people that were coming for that interview were graduates. And I asked them to write an application. When I saw the application, I was confused whether this person was a graduate, because they couldn't even write an application in their own writing. Not to talk about the writing itself. Some of them couldn't spell, couldn't express anything. Symbolic image. Because they live in, but if you saw them ordinarily, you say, yes, they are graduates because they look like that, they even talk that way. But in real practice, so people pursue shadows instead of reality. They sweep reality under the carpet. They don't want to face the realities of their lives. And this is what these lofty eyes cause. This is when the eyelids are lifted, because they are not looking down. You see, in our native languages, it is almost in the Yoruba language is there, in the Igbo language is there, in Niger Delta languages is there, in the northern languages is there. They say, put your eye down, do am. Put your eye down, do am. Why do they say that? They're trying to say you have to learn to concentrate on realities. Because if you do not concentrate on the realities, you miss out. The reality will leave you. And what is going to be the result? This is where people begin to have untoward behaviors. Escapism. What is escapism? Escapism is the attitude of running away from responsibilities. Why? Because you do not want to face the reality. So you try to evade responsibility. There are a lot of people, you deal with them, even in relationships, until it is time to accept responsibility. Boys can tell girls, I love you, I love you, I love you, and they'll be demanding for sex. Now, once the girl gets pregnant, they deny it or avoid it. That's why you see that there is a lot of teenage pregnancies, there's a lot of single mothers, because so many people don't want to accept responsibility. Eyes lifted up, lofty eyes. What this brings to you, the result is that you're going to be having untoward attitudes, escapism. There are some people that cannot even take care of their own parents because they don't want to be responsible. They don't want to be held accountable. There are some people, even as believers, if you try to give them an assignment, they try to dodge. They can tell you, I'm 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years in the Lord, but they are not responsible. They can't hold anything. They can't be in charge of anything. They can enjoy the euphoria of dancing and rejoicing and everything, but when it comes to responsibility, responsible Christian life, they say, oh no, I don't want. Escapism. It causes people to behave untowardly, to manifest untoward attitudes. If you want to find out how trustworthy a person is, hand the money over to him. Either of two things. He's not going to accept it, even though he's in the place to accept it, or else he accepts it and he can't give account of it. And before long, you see the person begins to dodge you. Escapism. And if you cannot manage the natural things, the physical things, how can you manage the things that God gives to you? How can you manage your destiny? How can you manage your future? How can you manage the greatness that God has endowed you with tomorrow? The reason why many people are struggling for that is because they did not start early. This is what we're talking about. creating free energy. We'll be dealing with that next week in our broadcast, because you need to be able to know how to create this free energy for yourself in the future. How do we do this? What do we do so that we break this spirit of lofty eyes that make us manifest untoward attitudes? How do we do it? We need to know the how, because sometimes and more often it is the nature of the person. The person is born with it. He does those things without premeditation. Just finds himself doing what he likes to do without liking what he is doing. And that's the danger. That's the reason why you must have to look back into your life. Is your world ruling you, or you are the one